The day the world changed for a young girl, it didn't begin with fireworks or warning signs. It began with footsteps. Slow, tired footsteps, dragging across the marble floor of the Lexington Corporate Tower, one of the tallest, coldest buildings in the entire city. And those footsteps belonged to a small 12-year-old girl named Melina Hale, who clutched a brown envelope to her chest as if it were the last honest thing left in the world. Her shoes were scuffed white from walking miles. Her backpack strap was held together with a safety pin. Her breathing trembled from fear she tried so hard to hide. But she walked. She kept walking, because what she carried did not belong to her. And Melina Hale believed lost things must be returned, even when the world didn't seem to care. Before I continue, if you believe honesty still matters, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Tales by Nanya. Your support helps us spread real stories of hope. The glass walls of the Lexington Tower caught the morning light and spilled it across the lobby in waves of gold. Everything shined. Floors, glass, elevators, even the shoes of the men and women rushing past without noticing her. Melina stood in that sea of polished power, a tiny, fragile shape hugged by oversized shadows. Some employees slowed. Some stared. One woman whispered, "Whose kid is that?" But Melina didn't stop. She kept her eyes forward. She had practiced what she would say. She had rehearsed it in the mirror. She had promised her grandmother she would return the envelope. Still, nothing prepared her for the receptionist's raised eyebrow or the suspicious glance she received as she explained why she was there. But after a long pause, the receptionist nodded to the far hallway, the office at the end. And that was how Melina found herself standing before the door of Leonard Lexington, a billionaire whose smile lived on magazine covers, whose business decisions shook entire industries, and whose tower was named after him. Melina swallowed the lump in her throat, straightened her shoulders, and walked inside. Leonard Lexington sat behind a polished desk as thick as a dining table, his suit flawless, his hair perfectly combed, his expression carved from stone. Beside him stood his assistant, a tall woman with sharp glasses and an even sharper gaze. Melina stepped forward and extended the envelope using both hands. Her arms trembled. Her voice cracked as she spoke. I came to return this. I found it 3 days ago on a bench at Riverfront Park." Leonard didn't reach for it. Instead, he stared at her. Then he leaned back. And then, slowly, loudly, he began to laugh. It wasn't a warm laugh, or a surprised laugh. It was the kind of laugh people used when they believed something or someone was beneath them. His assistant laughed too. Their eyes exchanged a silent joke. Melina felt the embarrassment burn through her skin. She suddenly wished she hadn't worn her faded sweater, or her old shoes. She wished she didn't look like a girl who came from a tiny apartment where the stove didn't always work and the electricity flickered during storms. But she steadied herself. She explained again how she found the envelope, how she kept it safe, and how she used the school's old computer to search for the company's address. But the more she talked, the harder Leonard laughed. "A lost envelope?" he said mockingly. "You came all the way here for that? Who put you up to this?" Melina's eyes dropped to the floor. Maybe she had made a mistake. Maybe the world didn't reward honesty. Maybe her grandmother was wrong. Her fingers loosened on the envelope. And then, the office door opened. A frail man entered slowly, leaning heavily on a wooden cane. His name was Mr. Alden Rivers, a retired city architect and consultant to the Heritage Restoration Board. He wasn't powerful like Leonard. He didn't wear expensive suits. But his eyes held a lifetime of wisdom. When his gaze fell upon the envelope in Melina's hands, something in his expression collapsed. Relief, shock, panic, all at once. He moved toward her, almost stumbling. Where did you get that?" Melina repeated her story, quietly, carefully. And with every word she spoke, Mr. Rivers's hands shook harder. Because he recognized it. Inside that envelope were his original hand-drawn blueprints, months of work, designs for a historical reconstruction project that meant the world to him. He had spent weeks searching, retracing his steps, losing sleep over the thought that they were gone forever. And now, A small girl stood here holding them out with trembling hands. The room went silent. Leonard stopped laughing. The assistant's smile fell. Mr. Rivers looked from the envelope to Melina to Leonard, and the disappointment in his eyes was sharper than anger. "Leonard," Mr. Rivers said softly, "this child has done what some adults would never do. She returned something priceless. Something I thought lost forever." Leonard's cheeks flushed. He opened his mouth, but no words came. The polished billionaire mask cracked. Melina stared at the floor again. But Mr. Rivers gently lifted her chin so she'd look at him. "Thank you," he whispered. "Real gratitude. Real emotion." Melina felt something loosen inside her chest. Something warm. Something like the sun rising. He asked about her home, her school, her grandmother, her long walk here. Her answers were simple, honest, and quiet. And in that moment, Leonard truly saw her. Not as a child wasting his time, but as a girl who carried more courage than most adults he knew. He apologized. Not the stiff, corporate kind. A real apology. "To laugh at you was wrong. I'm sorry." Melina nodded politely, though she still looked overwhelmed. Mr. Rivers turned back to Leonard. "We should do something," he said. "Not money. Something meaningful." Leonard nodded slowly. And so, right there in that gleaming glass tower, two powerful men decided to change the life of a girl who had walked miles with nothing but honesty in an envelope. Mr. Rivers placed a hand on Melina's shoulder. "Melina, you may be young, but you have the heart of someone far older. If you ever want to learn architecture, I will mentor you myself." Melina froze. Her breath caught. She wasn't used to offers like that. Leonard added quietly, "And your education, I'd like to support it. Fully." The girl looked from one man to the other, unsure if she was dreaming. Her vision blurred with tears. She tried to blink away. All she had wanted was to return something. She never expected her entire future to open up. Leonard personally walked Melina out of the office, something that startled his staff more than any headline. This time the employees didn't stare with suspicion. They looked with curiosity, admiration, even respect. When the glass doors slid open again, sunlight washed across Melina's face. The city suddenly felt softer, warmer, kinder. Her steps were lighter, her heart fuller. She didn't know what her life would become now, but she knew this. Doing the right thing still mattered. And sometimes, goodness opened doors money never could. As Melina headed home beneath the golden sky, she had no idea her simple act of honesty had started something bigger. Mr. Rivers would visit her grandmother. Leonard would rethink the way he treated people. The company would start a youth mentorship program in Melina's honor. And years later, one of the city's most beautiful restored buildings would bear an inscription carved into stone, in honor of Melina Hale, who proved that even the smallest hands can hold the greatest honesty. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Tales Binanya. Your support helps us reach more people with stories that remind us that kindness still lives. Comment below. Kindness lives on.